right, guys, what's going on? Welcome in. In this one, I am joined by my good buddy James, MrBucsNation. What's going on, man? How you doing?
Doing good, man. It's another week of football here with the Bucks and the Jets. And very excited, man. Very happy to be here. Thank you for having me on, and excited to talk about some football.
Yeah, dude. So the winless 0-2 Jets are coming into Raymond James Stadium. By the way, I'll be at the game for anyone that is wondering. If you guys see me, come say what's up, or if you guys want to chill or something, just shoot me a DM. Uh, I can't wait to go, man. It's going to be my first Jets game over here in Tampa, and for you guys, 2-0 home opener. You got the orange uniforms coming back. How are you? And we're going to dive into the injuries. There's a lot to talk about with the injuries, but macro perspective, how you feeling about the Bucks season so far?
I mean, it's obviously good when you're 2-0, right? Now you mentioned the throwback jerseys, so it's actually all white creamsicles this time around. It's the ones that they wore during their first ever NFL season, which has a lot of people worried because they've never won in their throwback jerseys before. That's real. That's a fact. So it's obviously good to be 2-0. It's been two absolute nail biters, man, where it has been literally last minute wins for the Bucks, both against the Texans on Monday Night Football in week 1 versus the Atlanta Falcons, with them missing the game tying field goal. So obviously it's going to be 2-0, but given the nature of the victories and also with all the injuries, it is a bit of a bittersweet feeling.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I mean, like us as Jets fans, like we've just dealt with so many injuries throughout the years. In some cases, the quarterback, right? It's not just the Aaron Rodgers thing, but you can go back a long ways. Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson always felt like he was beat up, and no Justin Fields, right? No Justin Fields for this week. It's going to be Tyrod Taylor, and I think a lot of Jets fans are actually somewhat excited for Tyrod because I think it's fair to say he's one of the best backups in the league. He has mobility. He can read a defense. He can get the ball out of his hands. He can check it down. He can extend plays when need be. It seems like coaches, players love him wherever he goes. And so, you know, in the past, the Jets have had backups where it just feels like it's an automatic loss, like Tim Boyle, Zach Wilson to a certain degree later on, in his career, Luke Falk at one point. I think that was during the 2020 or 2021 season. Anyway, Tyrod, you kind of feel like actually gives the Jets a solid chance to win. Like he's not just this liability out there. And really, from the Jets' perspective, I think if we can run the ball on our offensive side and put Tyrod in a position where he doesn't have to throw it 30, 35, 40 plus times a game, put the team on his back, trying to play hero ball, launching it into double coverage, or you're down so early in games. If the Jets can just keep it close, maybe they're up by a score, down by a score, or it's tied for the majority of the game. I actually like the Jets' offensive chances, despite like the wide receiving room being very thin, despite not having Elijah Vera Tucker, and also the Bucks presenting a lot of good opportunities, or having flat out one of the best defensive systems and players in the league.
And one thing that's going to be worth paying attention to for the Bucks is that Kalijah Kancey, as we talked about over on my channel, he tore his pec. He's out for the year. So Greg Gaines is now going to slot into that starting right end role, assumedly. It's going to be an interesting thing of the Jets offense versus the Bucks defense. A little bit of a revenge game there for Hassan Reddick. You have Yaya Diaby in there who these guys need to get pressure and make Tyrod uncomfortable. For the, like you said, for the Jets rushing attack, they have some very good running backs: Brees Hall, Braylon Allen, Isaiah Davis. For the Bucks, they need to really rely on Vita Vea and Greg Gaines and some of these bigger guys, and even the inside linebackers who have been a good job at run stopping, Servassier Dennis, Levante David, to stop that run game, because that's like what you said. I really can see being the Jets' main point of attack. Real quick note on Tyrod Taylor, too. I assume Brady Cook is probably going to be elevated for this game. I am curious to see the durability of Tyrod because he's had some injury concerns of his own in the past couple of years. Obviously, like you said, you want to take some of that pressure off of him, have him not sling the ball 30, 40, 50 times in a game because you're exposing yourself to more risk of injury with Tyrod. That's a big key for the Jets, in my opinion, right? Is like, hey, take the pressure off of Tyrod, let him kind of manage this offense. He is a capable veteran here in the NFL. He can manage an offense and rely on the weapons you do have. Me and you talked about it. They have a solid offensive line that right now, besides Elijah Vera Tucker being out, is about as healthy as it can be and has some notable players there. You have a running back with great potential in Breece Hall. Braylon Allen is a bruiser of a running back as well. So I agree with you where the Jets offensively, look, don't try and reinvent the wheel. Rely on your strengths, rely on the playmakers that you do have, especially considering, yes, Tyrod Taylor is still a mobile quarterback, and that can do some interesting things in the passing game, but he's not as mobile as Justin Fields. And just rely on your strengths, man. Rely on that running game. Rely on that solid, overall healthy offensive line, all things considered, and maybe take some moments to get that passing game involved when applicable.
So you mentioned Cansey's injury.
Mhm.
Obviously Vita Vea is kind of the anchor in the middle part of that defense,
Yeah.
but how good, how effective of a run stuffer was Cansey? How much of an impact did he actually provide? Because when I think of Cansey, I think of explosion, like explosive player, can jump right off the football, can affect the passer, can get in the backfield, and just be this like disruptive force. But just as a pure run stuffer, are you thinking like, obviously, I think without Cansey, they're going to just common sense, they're probably going to be worse off without him. But how big of a drop off is that actual injury when talking about the run game?
It was a bit of a mixed bag. I would argue that Cansey was actually a worse run defender versus a pass rusher. Cansey, I believe, especially like whenever you look at the PFF grades and stuff like that, he graded out to be a better pass rusher than a run blocker or run stuffer, I should say. Greg Gaines subbing in is going to be an interesting development, specifically for run defense, because Greg Gaines is a bit of a bigger defensive lineman when compared to Kalijah Cansey. And they did add Elijah Simmons. He is, I think, 6'1", 335. So if he gets factored into there, just getting bigger bodies kind of seems like that was the Buccaneers' goal after the Cansey injury. You do have Elijah Roberts in there as well, who's shown a little bit of stuff in preseason and stuff like that in terms of pass rush and run stopping. So it is a good question. I think that the run defense should mainly stay the same overall, in
Okay.
my opinion, because Vita Vea is still there. Greg Gaines is maybe a better run stopper than Kalijah Cansey, but a worse pass rusher than Kalijah Cansey, in my opinion. A big factor that will play into this as well, in my opinion, is Servassier Dennis and Levante David, who both have shown up in terms of run defense at that inside linebacker spot. Same with Yaya Diaby and Hassan Reddick to a certain degree, although, as you know, Hassan Reddick's a bit more of a pass rush specialist, so to speak. So I think whenever we talk about that, we do have to, especially like with the 3-4 defense being what it is, kind of looking more at that overall front seven. I think that they kind of stay the same in terms of run defense, but fall a little bit in losing Cansey in terms of pass rush capabilities.
Nice, man. Love it. So if we flip it and look at the Jets defense going up against the Buccaneers offense, right? Grizzard, first year OC. You got Baker Mayfield back there slinging it. Mike Evans, future Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Just tons of talent all over the place. But injuries, right? Injuries. And really, this matchup to me is like the most fascinating part of the whole game, right? Because the Jets defense has struggled this season. One game they stopped the run well, the other game they didn't. And the pass defense really just has not been anything to write home about whatsoever. We talked about it or we talked about it over on your channel. The Jets defense has given up over 60 points in 2 games, albeit Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, going up against two pretty smart, pretty if you're talking about just straight football knowledge, overall mind at the quarterback spot, they can find the open guy. And Baker Mayfield, I think, is right in that upper echelon group of guys who are not only just accurate with the football, but they make good decisions. And when he's rolling, when Baker's on fire, like the Bucs offense is on fire, like we've seen some awesome, awesome games from Mayfield, wearing that Bucs uniform. But admittedly, it does make me nervous, but I think with the amount of injuries that the Bucks have sustained so far, and stop me, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but no Chris Godwin, no Cody Mock, no Tristan Wirfs, no Luka Decky, and then you mentioned before or earlier on in the day that Michael Jordan is not practicing either.
So yeah, just for everybody who's watching this, obviously you guys are all Jets fans. For those of you who don't pay attention to the Bucks, number 2 wide receiver Chris Godwin not playing. Number 4 wide receiver Jalen McMillan on the IR. Emeka Ibuka did not practice today. He should probably play. We'll have to wait and see on that. Tristan Wirfs out, knee procedure. Mike Jordan didn't practice today. Obviously, we don't know the nature of the injury because he is on the practice squad and you don't have to report practice squad injuries, but that's something worth noting. Cody Mock on the IR, you're starting right guard. Luke Gedeke on the IR, you're starting right tackle. So, Ian, this is an offensive line that is point blank simple as this, put together with duct tape. It is a rough situation right now. Your starting left tackle is usually your starting center in Graham Barton. Your starting left guard is Mike Jordan, who's on the practice squad. He's been elevated a couple of games now. I think he should be okay to play, but you never know. Ben Bredesen's your starting center. He's usually your starting left guard. At right guard, kind of a toss-up. I mean, I think it's probably going to be Elijah Klein. If it's not Elijah Klein, it would probably be Dan Feeney off of the Bills practice squad, who they signed today officially. And then at right tackle, it would very likely be Charlie Heck, who was originally supposed to be your starting left tackle, but they decided to put Graham Barton at left tackle. Now he's your starting right tackle. So the offensive line is just in shambles, so to speak, in terms of availability of guys right now.
Yeah, and then for guys too that, aren't necessarily on IR, but are still maybe beat up a little bit, because, bottom line, the Bucks played, on Monday night. It is a shorter week for them. Baker, it seemed like he was a little beat up. I think he missed 1 day of practice, if I'm not.
So they gave him a break. It wasn't like really anything injury related, but he was sore, especially
Okay.
man, he was sore. I'll just say that.
Yeah, because I could recall at one point in that Texans game, like, I could have swore I saw Baker, like, just kinda, like, hobbling, like, limping around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then, you mentioned too, Igbuka is, he's not on IR, but it just feels like he's maybe a little banged up as well.
Groin and hip injury. And they actually during the Monday night broadcast, they had shown that they were wrapping up his groin and his hip and stuff like that with some type of material. I don't necessarily know what it was. And it looked like gauze, basically. But yeah, he's a little bit banged up as well. So your backup receivers, look, it's Sterling Shepard, it's Tez Johnson, it's Ryan Miller, Cameron Johnson. Those are guys who are in that wide receiver room right now.
Yeah, and so no, sort of disrespect to Tampa, Baker, or
Yep.
anybody, but, like, if the Jets defense cannot get back on track this week again, like, I don't I
Ian,
don't know what it would
let me
what the reaction is gonna be afterwards.
let me say this from a obviously outside perspective of the Jets organization. If the Jets defense, which right now they're pretty healthy, right? Like in
Yep.
terms of starting caliber guys being out there, you have a few backups who have been like banged up and stuff like that. And even like Jermaine Johnson's been a bit banged up. Man, I if this Jets defense can't, if they give up like 30 points to this Bucks offense, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I do not know what to tell you. Now, I will say, like the Bucks still have Bucky Irving and Rashad White. They still have Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield. So like, and Kate Otten. So like, you're always going to have some type of a chance just because like they have a lot of weapons, right? And I do think that this will be a close game. But with that offensive line being as absolutely decimated as they are, if you don't see this run defense perform at least somewhat throughout the game, and if that pass rush doesn't get going, again, I don't know what to tell you, Jets fans, because the offensive line for the Bucks is decimated right now. There's no other way to put it.
It's crazy, and, like, a part of me is kinda thinking that Grizzard might try to get the ball out of Baker's hands quickly, just, like, real quick, like, half step drop or, like, a lot of screens, quick maybe dump offs to the running back to try to get the Jets to, like, over pursue, which was a big problem in week 2 against the Bills from the Jets' perspective, but Overall, how you feeling about this game? Like confidence level going in as a Bucks fan. It's obviously the home opener for you guys. It'd be great to, for Tampa to get the win. 3-0 on the season, still obviously be in first place in the NFC South. Carolina, New Orleans, not looking great at all. Atlanta, decent, but you guys already got a win over them. So, um,
Thank God.
obviously this, yeah, it came down to the end. Um, but still, man, like Tampa, I mean, as you know, I live down here, and it's just such a well-ran organization. My hat goes off to them.
Confidence level, I would say I am slightly confident. Now, and we talked about this where I'm very worried about the injuries on the offensive side of the ball. I feel okay about the defense. The only major injury is Kalijah Cansey. He wasn't exactly playing great this year so far up to this point, but obviously that's still a huge, huge loss to your defense just overall. Um, I do feel slightly confident because again, you still have some really good pieces on the offensive side of the ball. Won't matter much if you can't block anybody, but I'm just hoping the Bucks offensive line can get through this game and they can get a win. That's genuinely what I believe so far to this point. It is the home opener. They are wearing the old uniforms and stuff like that, and that's cool. Um, but I worry about the offensive line. I worry about all those offensive injuries. Certainly got a feel for Josh Grizzard as a first-year offensive coordinator to have the cupboard so bare in terms of offensive linemen, so to speak. I really do think this one could turn into just a defensive showdown between the Bucks defense versus the Jets offense and the Jets defense versus the Bucks offense. I really do believe that.
Gotcha. And so as you were talking here, ironically enough, I got a Twitter notification from Mike Garafolo saying that Igbuka didn't practice today either. I
Yes.
don't know if you knew that or not, but
Yes, yeah. So I think we did talk about that a little bit over on my channel, but yeah, Buka did not practice today. No bueno, no bueno, man. Not great. They obviously did not report. Um, they did not report Mike Jordan's injury. But yeah, hopefully Ibuka can go. I mean, golly.
yeah, yep. Because I mean, again, when I'm looking at like the Bucks offensive structure, the system, the playmakers on the outside, like man, Tampa just has so much talent. Like I don't want to see. I mean, for this week, I really don't care all that much, but I don't want to see Tampa just completely fall apart just simply due to injuries and have this potential great year just slip through the cracks because guys just can't, guys aren't out there. But dude, I appreciate you hopping on, man. Really do. And for everybody listening, go subscribe to Mr. Bucks Nation. Link, of course, will be listed down below in the description box. James, anything else that you wanted to cover, man?
I don't think so, man. I think we did a pretty good job of covering this. Looking forward to the game, dude. Hope you have a good time too. It's your first time at Raymond James Stadium, right?
For no, so I went to Bucks Rams during the virus year.
Yes.
It was, I think it was Jared Goff, Jalen Ramsey. It was I believe it's actually Monday night or Sunday night football. And then I
Okay.
actually went in preseason. I went with a bunch of my brother and
That's
his,
right.
yeah, they're all Bills fans. So we went to the Bills Bucks preseason game. Honestly, it was packed, dude. It was packed. So I think it's gonna be slammed
Oh yeah.
Sunday.
Oh yeah. Maybe so, man. Maybe so. Yeah, no, I'm excited, man. Should be fun.
One quick point, it just popped into my mind. Some, s- I think special teams sometimes gets overlooked. But the Jets kicking game has been pretty good, right?
Mhm.
McNamara punter, Nick Folk kicker, but the Bucks kicking game is somewhat interesting. When I was kind of putting together like or getting statistics ready to do the preview video that I posted yesterday. I was looking at the Bucks kicking stats, and I think there's what, two missed field goals,
Mhm.
both under 50 yards, with a miss extra point in only 2 games. Are you concerned really at all with the kicking
Oh
performance so
yeah.
far?
Oh yeah. I mean, McLaughlin's missed 3 kicks so far this year, 2 field goals and an extra point. Um, you had a blocked punt last week against the Houston Texans. It's just, it's inexcusable lack of execution special teams wise. Todd Bowles said that they haven't brought in a kicker or anything yet on the practice squad or anything. If McLaughlin does struggle in this game, yeah, you better believe they're probably going to bring in a kicker on the practice squad at least, right? So yeah, it's certainly something I'm concerned about. This being the first home game, hopefully McLaughlin kicks better on home field turf. We're gonna have to wait and see, or home field. So, but yeah, I mean, the special teams last week of the second half of that Texans game was abysmal for the Bucks. Point blanks, no other way about it.
Yeah, because it just kinda gets me thinking like, okay, if it is a close game, and the Bucks do maybe have to kick a game-winning field goal or a game-tying field goal or something, if it comes down to an extra point or 2, you
What's
know,
that going to look like? It's a genuine question.
yeah, which, and no one really likes to dive into, like, the hypothetical, will a kicker miss or will a kicker make it? But I do think it's pretty interesting and flat out disappointing that, McLaughlin's missed the 3 kicks in 2 games so far, because the Jets have had their fair share of kicking issues. Thankfully, none this year again, but, yeah, I think we're all good if you're good, man.
And my strategy, by the way, for watching kickers is this: I kind of like try and like look away.
Yeah, dude, me too, me too. That's like bathroom break or I gotta get up and get a drink. There's
I
something
don't want to
about
know.
watching there's something about watching field goals I just can't. I can watch a 4th and goal, no problem. I can watch a defensive, red zone, stand, but just something about those field goals, I just get so damn nervous, man, so nervous.
Yeah, I'm the same way, dude. I always kind of like do this, like, okay, let's see what do we got. Like, watch a horror movie or something, Like, I'm just like, yeah, I don't want to watch this.
Yeah,
So
and then, dude, even the missed extra points, those just get me like, they
those are
drive me up the
awful.
wall.
Those are awful because those are the ones you expect. You're like, well, yeah, of course they're gonna make it. It's like automatic, and then they miss it, and you're like, I hate my life.
Yeah. Exactly, man. All right, cool. So, yeah, thanks so much for everyone hanging out, watching. I appreciate it. And as always, go Jets.